Well, I'm glad you could join us. I'm just looking over a little book called Happy About Apartment Management. Deals with managers of apartments and also about tenants. And personally myself, I grew up in an apartment house next to Golden Gate Park, a one-bedroom apartment, lived there. My parents lived there for 44 years. Things have changed. People don't stay in one place that long. Robert Clegg is with us right now, and Steve McDonald. Steve, nice to see you. And Lon, nice to have you here. What was the motivation of this? Were managers not understanding their tenants, or tenants not understanding their managers?
Oh, well,
or you're not understanding me.
Yeah, no. It's written from the perspective of apartment owners. You know, to talk to owners about how to be good landlords, how to be successful at operating your buildings. But residents can derive information from it as well. It kind of swings both ways.
Bob, what about your perspective on this?
Well, actually, the book started out when Steve was going visiting a number of apartment complexes, and he would have, you know, a tip here and a tip there and a tip there for apartment managers as to how to improve their property. And we started compiling the list, and then it got to be categorized, and then it got to be a little marketing promotion that we had in a small book, and then a publisher picked it up and said, hey, you know, anybody can use this information. It's very concise, and right away it improves a manager's ability to make their property a better place to live and more marketable.
Okay, more marketable. What about from the tenant standpoint now? Are they, you know, saying we only want a certain kind of tenant? What about the relationship between a tenant and a manager? It's always tenuous at best in many cases.
Well, let me just first, believe it or not, actually, experienced property managers are constantly on the lookout to try and attract the best tenants. And
that doesn't surprise me. Yeah, that's no surprise there, right?
And so I think from the tenant's perspective, what the book does for property manager is set out programs that would attract the best tenants, and that is in the care and management of the property, in the location and the value and the service that you provide to the tenant. And this is areas of expertise.
This is a reciprocal thing.
That's right.
I mean, the tenant has to be the right tenant, but the manager has to be the right manager.
That's right.
If you're a resident looking for a good place to live, you don't want your apartment manager not be there when you're trying to find an apartment.
Yeah.
That's indicative of when you need a toilet repaired or something like that.
Yeah.
You know,
okay. One of the things that happens is sometimes a tenant will have problems with their managers, and I'm referring to somebody in my family right now. And they can't get a certain thing resolved. The heat won't come on, and things won't get fixed, or just that a decent apartment. Whose fault is that? Who solves that? Where do you turn? This is the kind of thing that people ask, I would think.
if you have an owner or a manager of a building that's not taking care of it, I would recommend, if that were my friend or cousin or brother, that they need to find another place to live, because that's what I was talking about when it comes to managing apartments. The resident deserves a good quality place to live, and price isn't always the first thing that should be looked at.
Yeah. Well, of course, with the with the difficulty in the Bay Area of buying a house, it's forced up apartment house prices. Sure. It's not $75 a month like my parents used to pay.
Right.
It's thousands a month to find small places. Well, so anyway, the book goes into different areas that the manager can make it better both for themselves and for the tenant, I'm sure. Right?
Absolutely.
Okay, all right. The name of the book is called Happy About Apartment Management, and if you're a tenant, I'm sure it has information about that. And if you're a manager, you want to find out how to be a better manager. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.